So right now, some breaking news in the pro wrestling world that has blown me away in many different ways, and everyone's talking about it. It's pretty crazy, man. It's the unfortunate news of Buff Bagwell losing his leg. And I gotta say, first and foremost, of course, prayers out to Buff Bagwell, and he seems very positive and upbeat about it all. But God bless Maven. I mean, dude's, I gotta say right now, right, most likely would everyone agree, the MVP of the pro wrestling world YouTube content. His channel just blew up in a crazy way, and he's used his platform for good. Like Buff Bagwell, this journey that he's on, as you can see, I'm subscribed to Buff Bagwell's channel. But Buff, with the hardships that he's got going on, like, it's just true. None of this is a diss to Buff, because we got to get into some difficult things on this video about life, faith, sobriety, etc. But Buff just doesn't do numbers the way that Maven does. Maven, like, no one really does. This guy's YouTube explosion onto the scene and takeover, and just the way the content is, the editing, everything is crazy. It's off the chain, and he's used his platform to collaborate with a lot of people, and he's a very positive, upbeat dude and honest about a lot of things about the pro wrestling lifestyle that we know has put a lot of people in the grave early and beat people down, and physically, mentally, and all that. There's no secret. So for him just doing this collab with Buff, and I want to say first, I believe he sincerely was being there for him and cares about Buff, in my opinion, the way it seemed. He, of course, like, this is his content, no question. It's money in the bank. I don't know if some of the proceeds from this video are going to go to Buff or not, but just the plug that Buff's channel and exposure he'll get coming off this, because there's no retirement packages in pro wrestling, you know what I mean? That's why we see, like in the movie The Wrestler, guys with their little merch stands and their gimmick fanny packs selling Polaroids and stuff like that. It's a tough lifestyle, and Buff Bagwell's been through a lot. But I was totally unaware about this. Comment anyone out there if you knew about this, the complications with the injuries. I thought things were kind of trending in a different way for Buff, but I guess I was out of the loop with some of the news. But there's a clip, something that he gets into, that I want to share with y'all.
I get it, man. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling, but you just, there's no reason to complain about it, because here I am. So you just, hey, thank you, sir, appreciate it, and you get up and roll, you know?
Yeah.
You go on. Hugely in my life, I was always able to fix it. I knocked my teeth out, and I fixed it. I would roll my car and get a DUI, and I fixed it. I fixed every time. I fixed it. But God finally said, bro, and he gave me something that I couldn't fix.
Without the leg injury, are you sober today?
No. I'd rather be sober right now with this situation than Buff Bagwell on WCW making money and in the funk I was in. I'd much rather have this life.
So you heard what Buff was saying. He's always kicked out. He's always been able to persevere. Lost his teeth, got him back. Hell, we seen this guy break his neck and get back in the ring, back in the WCW days. Been through so many things, and just persevered and got himself back over and everything. And I didn't know of this accident in 2020 where essentially is all covered in the video. His kneecap exploded. There was no more. So all the knee surgeries in the world, I think he said he had like 30 or so, 30 plus, before they said, yo, we got to chop that thing off. There's nothing we can do. It, like, without having the cap, a knee replacement just doesn't really take, I guess, is the way it went. And this is what he's got to do. This is what it is. this is going to be a better way of life for him. I didn't know about this. I believe he said the accident happened in 2020. He had been drinking, partying, took some Xannies in the morning, switched it up to drinking Diet Coke, trying to kick off out of the buzz from partying or whatever, I believe, right? And again, nothing in this is disrespect. I'm just keeping it real. And he said he crashed. Did he say it was like a mall or something like that? And it was a terrible accident. And it was a DUI and everything like that. And I don't know if that was covered in the Dark Side of the Ring. I don't believe so. They covered him shooting his father and his boxing upbringing, the gigolo stuff, all that stuff. But I didn't know about this because the last I knew about Buff Bagwell content-wise was longer ago than I thought. I thought what I'm getting into is his story is eerily similar to someone that he was close to, Lex Luger, who I've shared in other videos, and people have like agreed with me is like Lex, we know, is a guy that had a crazy physique, crazy shape that he was in, just like Buff, but obviously Lex has lost all his gains. He weighs like $150 in a wheelchair, but he often talks about how he's in a better place now than he ever was in his prime. He said something to the extent of the narcissist gimmick that he had was somewhat real life. It wasn't that far off of who Lex Luger, the man, was. Just keeping it real with himself. And we know these guys were juicing, doing lots of pills and stuff like that. And what I'm getting at with Buff, you hear him talking there at the end of how he's kicked out and everything in life until at this point, God dealt him this hand. He said, Maven asked him, would you be sober right now without this? And he flat out said, no. I was unaware that he got all fucked up drinking and driving and got in this crash, because I heard an interview, I want to say it was like 2015, 2017, somewhere in that time frame, where he was talking about, hey, I'm doing better. I'm on Suboxone. I take a Suboxone a day. I'm okay. And he was talking about how he got his Suboxone through his girl's work insurance, and he was out trying to make a living. Again, there's no retirement packages in this stuff, so obviously a lot of these pro wrestlers getting into the content world and all that. But it's like, here he is now in a situation just like Lex Luger. Not the exact same, you know what I mean? But things got very drastic in life to humble Buff Bagwell, losing his leg, and him talking about sobriety and all that. None of this is a disrespect. I've shared with people before. I've been on Suboxone and all that stuff. Addiction is crazy. And it's like, I thought Buff had it all under control, but obviously getting in that accident, he didn't. And here's a quote from that interview that he was talking about, where him and Lex, were workout buddies, and Lex got into this accident popping some somas or something like that. And he spoke about how, like, you just can't eat. When you take the somas, when they kick in, you'll nod off. And Lex did that. He got some hash browns and crashed or something like that. I wanted to find the audio clip from the interview. I believe it was on the Steve Austin show. So this might have been all the way back in 2015 at that time. Buff seemed to have things in control, or maybe not so much. Maybe he just thought he did, because that's how it is with addiction. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. It truly leads to nothing but jails, institutions, and death if you don't get it under control. You know what I mean? And he said about Lex 2005 DUI, I really tried to help Luger. I said, don't leave. Please stay here. I said, Judy will get us something to eat. Don't worry about that. I said, don't do it. And he just refused. And when he got in the car and he smelled those hash browns, he took a couple bites of hash browns, and there it was, nodded out and went out. So at that time, like I said, I'm thinking like, okay, he's in a better place. Suboxone, he's doing his thing or whatever. He's pushing on, he's persevering, but addiction is a crazy thing, man. It can take. Here's one more clip where he's thinking like,
when you're doing it. So, and the catch is doing it sober. I tried a couple times to do this thing where, you thought you were doing the right thing and you really thought you were, staying solid, but you just wasn't doing the right thing. You were trying, I was trying to do it. I remember talking to Lex. And being like, man, I said, you got to quit drinking, bro. You got to quit taking pills. And I was still taking pills and drinking right in front of him. And I was trying to tell him about God. And he's like, Mark, you got a beer and pills in your hand. What are you talking about? But I still was trying to preach to him. And he was like, and now, of all things, Lex's journey with his, not just his sobriety, but with his faith is unbelievable. He's got such a great with him, and I'm so proud of him. It's not even funny.
And he seems to be in an amazing place as well, doesn't it? From recent interviews and things I've seen with him, he seems to be in such a positive, faith-filled place.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I even will call him and say, I said, man, how are you keeping this faith like you are? I mean, the Lex Luger that Marcus Bagwell hung out with, Ben, was, I mean, he was so strong and so powerful, but at the same time, he was very, very, he was about himself. It was about, it was about us getting in shape and very, very isolated and very, very, this is what it's supposed to be. And see him so humble is the word. Humility in this sobriety journey is huge. And his humbleness, he is so humble now to see a man be 300 pounds with abs, and now he's a 175 pound man in a wheelchair. That person's got to have faith, and he does, and it's a wonderful thing to see.
And I love
y'all heard right there. Speaking of him with Luger, like I said, I wanted the clip of him talking about Luger's DUI, but you heard him saying there how at one point in time he's thinking that he's preaching to Lex, trying to help him when he was still using. And that's the crazy thing about addiction. This is stuff we see all the time, you know what I mean? And here he is now. Again, God bless Maven for getting this out there, more exposure. Again, I thought Buff had things under control, but obviously maybe he did, and that was just a slip up in 2020 or whenever that happened, man. But here he is now, missing a leg, feeling phantom, he didn't say phantom pains, but phantom feelings. And man, Maven really worked hard too to like put in that work to get all the footage and really express to everyone how real all this was, even fighting with the hospital in a sense to really get exclusive footage, and then sweet talking them, as he said, to get back in there with their visitor's badge to deliver the content to everyone, to show everyone what's going on with Buff, because he's missing a leg. He's got to continue to try to pay the bills. You see, he's got his old lady with him. She's brokenhearted. But I don't know, his story just reminded me so much of Lex. And then they were both so close, and just everything with addiction. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he had things under control. And again, maybe he did, or he just thought he did, or that was just a slip up or whatever. But you heard what he said in that initial clip that I shared with y'all. He kicked out of everything in life, and the disease manipulated his mind, thinking he had things under wraps, under control. But without this situation, he would not be a sober man. So there you have it, man. The crazy news that has swept the pro wrestling world. Buff Bagwell loses a leg. Jump in the comments, everyone. Let me know what you think about it all. Let me know your thoughts with addiction, all that, personal thoughts or experiences, if you do want to share. You know what I mean? As always, if you're new over here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the comments. This channel is just all about engaging with the people and talking it up on these pro wrestling topics. And again, no disrespect intended at all in any way, man. Addiction's crazy, and I know about it firsthand. Prayers out to Buff Bagwell. And thank you to Maven. God bless Maven for using his platform to do good. Like, yeah, he rakes in the money content wise, but he is giving a lot of pro wrestlers out there a positive rub, if you will, with collabs and stuff. And this one was very, very moving.